This is America Expuesta. America Expuesta. With Josué and Christopher Peña. Welcome to another episode.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Bienvenidos a nuevo episodio de América Expuesta. Estamos aquí con nuestro invitado especial, Brandon Holmes. I'm going to do this introduction as well in Spanish because this is a Spanish channel that we're just running and started with my brother called America Expuesta. Just as a clarification, it's not talking about America, it's America Undercover, which is showing real story of successful people that came from nothing to making a real good business in the world. So I'm here with one of the men that I admire most, who is my mentor, who helped me to change my financial life forever and helped me to become top 1 or top 5 earners in America at my age. So Brandon Holmes is our main guest. He needed to be the first guest in our podcast. He is the founder and CEO of United Energy. Mm-hmm. His net worth is $10 million. And one of the things that I really like is your humility and the time that you're spending right now with us, which is so valuable. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing your thoughts and your story with our people.
Man, I'm honored to be here. Super grateful. I think that Google search is off a little bit. I'm just blessed that what's the most important intro is that you said that I was an important person in your life. So that means more to me than anything else that I've ever accomplished financially, whatever. I'm just so proud of you guys. It's so cool to be here. It's amazing to see the come up. It's watching you guys do it daily that just makes me more proud and happy than anything. And I think the name is really awesome. I think I kind of have a little cheat code. I took Spanish in high school like most people, but I love the language. And I went on a 2-year mission for my church, and I learned Spanish. And so I've heard that maybe the America Expuesta people that speak English are fearful that you're going to expose America, right? But expuesta, the word is cool because it actually kind of means to uncover, right? Like to find, like encontrar, to seek and find and to show, not to expose, but to show. And I think that you guys are doing a great thing here. So pretty cool.
So thank you. One of the things that first of all, that I will want to ask you in this podcast is, what are your Spanish favorite words?
Favorite words?
Words?
Words or worlds?
Words.
Words?
Yes.
Oof. Favorite words in Spanish.
So let's test your Spanish right now.
Okay.
Which one is your favorite one?
So when we were in the MTC or the Missionary Training Center, we were trying to come up with fun words that didn't mean the same in English like that meant in Spanish, like phrases. For example, in Spanish you could say something like say, like the say that doesn't translate in English, right?
Sure.
Or you could say like Simón que sí.
Simón que sí.
See? Or
yeah.
Well, so in English we have a phrase called raise the roof.
Raise the roof?
Raise the roof. Like back in that day it was like something that was funny, right? So we would always say levanta el techo.
Levanta el techo.
And my
didn't
teacher's
make
like,
sense.
doesn't make any sense.
No.
And I'm like, no, raise the roof. Levanta el techo. So I know it doesn't make any sense, but that's my favorite phrase because I made it up and it kind of stuck. And then my next favorite word is alcohólico.
Alcohólico? Why? Why is that?
Did I tell you the story? So I had been on my mission short time, and I was talking to someone, and we are ministers or preachers, and so people will come and like confess to us a lot, and I'm like, no, you don't need to confess to me. I'm not a priest. And he was saying, and I haven't spoken a lot of Spanish at this time, so my learning, my comprehension was low. So he was telling me, he was saying, hey, I'm an alcoholico, and I thought he said, I'm a católico. I thought he said, I'm Catholic. And I'm like, oh, bueno, like católico es bueno, like creer en Dios y orar. He's like, see, like, see. And like, so I was talking about being a Catholic. And he was talking about being an alcoholic. So I'm like, do you believe in God? Like I'm going through the alcoholic anonymous steps, right? Like which are the first discussions almost. And so for 1 hour, una hora, yo creo que el hombre dice alcohólico y no católico. So I love that. Every time I hear that word, I laugh because I just think
that's a funny story, and that made me to remember. And we're going to welcome our unofficial sponsor, Red Bull.
Red Bull. Always got to have my Red Bull going.
I have never met anyone in this world who drinks more Red Bull than you.
That's not true. I open more Red Bull cans than most, but I won't finish it. If it gets warm or if the bubbles go away, I'll throw it away.
Really? Yeah. Well, and another thing that I was going to mention is like that made me to remember that one day I was working and I started learning English, and when you're learning, you're confusing words, right? Mm. And I was preparing taxes. Well, no, not preparing, helping to prepare taxes. And somebody told me like, do you guys do school loans for the forms? And I say, what's school loans? And coulombs means like body in like us in Spanish, right? School, and then I didn't realize that he was saying school loans, not culo, right. You know, and that made me laugh. But anyway, thank you for you being an example of creating a path of leadership in these years that we've met each other, and especially when pandemic came, you let us when everyone go hide, stay in their homes. You taught us, let's go work. So we appreciate everything we've done. Is thank you, you know. So we're feeling so blessed to follow your steps. So that's why you motivate us to create as well part of this podcast. So thank you so much for being here again. And who is Brandon Holmes? Because I know you as a businessman, as a friend, but who is Brandon Holmes like? Behind the businessman, I want to know who is Brandon Holmes.
That's a tough question, man. I think I could tell you what I did today, and that might give you a good example of who Brandon Holmes is. Because I think that to say that I'm a businessman, and I think Jay-Z said it best, is that I'm a businessman. I'm not a businessman. I am the businessman. And I think what that means as I've gotten older is I love business. I love work. I love to work hard. I get up and all I'm thinking about is problems. My brain doesn't shut off. And you'd have to interview my wife to get the real story, but I don't stop. And it actually is really stressful. And when I was younger, I really had a problem with dividing my time correctly. Mm-hmm. And I just allowed my passion, which is work, and not like shoveling ditches, but if that's what's needed, I'll do it.
Sure.
But it's figuring out problems and processes and seeing how to help things go from 1 to 2. I don't stop on a project until it's done. Mm-hmm. Like if my house isn't clean, I will go around the home at 2 a.m. and clean it because I just don't like things undone. Mm-hmm. And so like this morning I got up at 6:15. I took my daughter to school. And when we go to school in the mornings, I say all my affirmations. I say I love myself 100 times with her, with my kids. We power up. I come back, I meditate. And today I was pretty tired, so I actually fell back asleep while I was reading. But then I will always, first thing I do is I always give thanks to the Creator for another day and the blessings. I've just been so blessed. And I feel like always making sure that I realize where my position is in the universe always helps me want to hustle.
Sure.
I just feel at any time I could be gone. At any time my family could be without me.
Yeah.
I could lose my ability to produce at any time. And I've had like 6 surgeries, so I've had to be put in the bed sometimes. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, I get really agitated and irritated because I like to create and produce.
Sure.
And so that's been this, even if my money's up or my money's down, I spend that time saying thank you to the Creator to put myself in the proper place. Sure. But I had an interview today, another one, and I was sharing with them that I actually, and what's so important though, is that I know that I am a divine son of the Creator. Mm-hmm. I believe that I'm royalty. I am the literal offspring of Dios. I believe that like in my fibers. So no matter what I do, no matter what my choices are, if some people, some cultures, some churches, some people think what I do is a sin, I think it's a choice and an experience. I feel that, and no matter what I choose to do, that doesn't change who I am as a son of God. If you were born of a king and you were a prince, no matter what you chose to do, you would always be a prince by your royal bloodline. Mm-hmm. You can't change that. You're divine.
That's deep.
You are divine. You can't change that no matter what you choose to do. So even though I say thanks and I stay humble and I always make sure I know, but I know I am divine. So every day I wake up, I put myself in the humility spot, thriving, knowing that I have divinity inside of me and I'm going to go figure out how to show that today.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's powerful.
That makes me move.
That's powerful. And one of the things that I really admire, because your comment is so deep, that I want to ask you, like, many people relate failure, that's going to another topic, but many people relate failure with making mistakes, mm-hmm. making spiritual mistakes. Mm-hmm. Do you think, or what's your perspective on failing when you're probably in spiritual or religion, you're not doing something good?
Yeah, I don't believe in very many things are sins. Mm-hmm. And I think that could be taken the wrong or the right way. There's a lot of context that could be taken, so people have to just feel my heart on this one.
Sure.
And when I say that, what I mean is, when I was 17, I made some choices where the church that I was a part of asked me to not come back. Mm-hmm. So I left the church, right? Mm-hmm. Because of my choices. And I had the whole town really ridicule me like a scarlet letter. There was a great book that's out that talks about this scarlet letter in American literature. And when you would sin or commit adultery, they would stick a big patch on your chest and everyone would persecute you, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's how I felt. And at 17, trying to manage all those expectations and my parents and let my brothers down. And I just felt so much pressure that I cracked. Mm-hmm. Like I just felt like a failure. And in those moments, I learned that I am actually divine. That's where I had that aha moment where mm-hmm. No matter what my choice was, Heavenly Father, the Creator, would always love me, right?
Sure.
And so in that moment, I actually got really clear that I don't care what other people think of my choices. Mm-hmm. And I actually had to believe that to my core. So if you see me do something and you don't like it, I don't care. Mm-hmm. I truly don't. I have zero concern for people's judgment on me. And a lot of people in different religious cultures shame or should, like you should do this, you shouldn't do this. And people do things out of fear. Now, if you study religion back in the early 1800s, people used fear to get money from their people to repent, which made it all skewed and twisted.
Yeah.
But as I've lived my life, I believe we came to this life to experience everything.
What was the advice that you gave to Josue last date? You gotta do it twice, because if not, well, how was that phrase?
Yeah, I said I do everything in life 2 times.
Okay.
The first time you try it, you don't know what to experience, you don't know how it's going to go, so it's all new for you. Mm-hmm. The second time, you go in with an expectation, and then you can decide if it's for you or not. Mm-hmm. And I've done that with everything. And my life is now an open book. And I feel like that's allowed me to connect with so many people. And after I was 17 and I had this aha moment, and I came back to the church after I studied, when I went on my mission, I connected with so many people who had done the same things I did and felt the same ways I did. But because I had experienced it, I could reach out to them and say, I've been there. And that's why I'm here.
Sure.
Because I've been there. There's hope. There's progress. Which is exactly what you're talking about with this podcast, is being in a very low place, and this was spiritually, to going to a higher place when I realized that I am a son of God.
Yeah.
And if there's one great commandment, and we can talk about Muslim, or we can talk about the Talmud, the Quran. So if we want to talk Christianity, you guys are Christians, let's use Christianity, because I can take any religion and we can go down this vein, because it's all the same, which is another interesting deep topic. But if you take Christianity and they say that the number one great commandment is to love God as thyself, and the second is like unto it, to love thy neighbor as thyself, right? So love God, love thy neighbor, love yourself. Well, if there's one great commandment, then there's also one great sin. And this is the only sin that I believe truly exists. And then every other act falls inside of this sin, which is, if in Christianity's beliefs that there was a devil who was Lucifer, Satan, and Heavenly Father, the Father cast him out. He never got a body. He never got to be able to come and experience these things we're experiencing. So if he can get you to do a normal function, a normal act, whether that's eating, or whether that's, let's call it any kind of sexual sin, if you want to call it sin, okay? Anything that you do that is a normal, eating is normal. Sex is normal. Like, we have babies. That's how people got here. And it's like this taboo discussion, right?
Yeah.
So if he can take a normal function and make you feel less than the Son of God for doing a normal function, he wins. He makes you feel that you're not divine. You're not worthy, which that is the sin. If you believe you are not worthy as a son of God, or less than being divine, or the Heavenly Father doesn't love you, that's the sin. That's the only sin. Call it food, call it pornography, call it sex, call it alcohol, call it drugs. I don't care what you call it. But if you do something and then you feel unworthy of your Heavenly Father's love, now the difference is being in his presence and blessings, but unworthy of his love, which you start to draw yourself away,
then is the sin.
Then that is the sin.
That's deep.
That's the only sin. That's the great sin.
Yeah. If
you can master that, then I'll do everything twice, because I'll go try it, and maybe this is for me, maybe it's not for me. And there's, back to some of my roots. You asked about some roots, but so my family is Comanche Native American. We're from a tribe in the plains. We actually come from the Aztec people. When Montezuma came, when Cortez came, Montezuma took his people up. They hit the Rocky Mountains. Half the people went to the plains of Texas, which were the Comanches. The other half went up on the Rocky Mountains, Shoshone, Goshu, Paiute, Cheyenne. We do something called a sweat or a Sundance, where we show our devotion and our worship to the Creator, right? Well, when I was young, I would watch a sweat, and people would go in this little cave-like thing.
Yeah.
They'd come out, and they would all be sweating and miserable and look really scary. So I didn't want to do it. Well, when I got older, I got invited to go into a sweat, and I went in, and it was dark, it was scary, it was hard, and I didn't like it. I went a second time, and I had the most amazing spiritual experience connecting me to the Creator, and I was like, that was for me. If I would have done my first time, I would have never done it again.
Sure.
And if I was super scared and thought that, hey, that's not a part of my religion, that's something else over there, I'm not going to do it, I would never have had such an amazing experience. So I feel like that's a great microcosm of anything you want to do in life, because we're here to experience things, touch things, feel things, experience.
See if you like it.
Not only like it, but see if it helps you become a better
person. Or human.
That's right.
And definitely those are really, really good advices and what you're saying, because most in our culture, we are always pointed, oh, you did this, then the life is going to treat you bad. That's the most common idea that we have. For example, our parents or whoever, or church leaders, they say, you do this, then you're not going to have successful in business. The life is going to be blah, blah, blah. So people feel blamed about their mistakes when I share your opinion about that. Mistakes makes you become a better person.
And everything.
So how, our countries are so poor, right? Mm-hmm. How did you overcame, or if you have been poor in your life one day? Have you?
Couple times.
Uh-huh. How do you overcame poverty?
How do I overcome poverty? So I think that's why I had spent some time on that first part, is that if you don't truly know who you are as a son or daughter of the Creator, and you don't realize that you're divine, then you'll always stay in poverty. Whether that's mental, physical, social, emotional, spiritual, you'll stay poor. And poor doesn't mean money, right? That means that you have no hope, right? What's the word?
Pobreza or esperanza?
Esperanza. Yeah. No esperanza, no hope, right? So when in my lowest moments of financial poverty, right? We had started and ran a company that we did mortgages that I had a few partners with, and I was working under a brokerage. And in 2007, the financial markets crashed due to mortgage industry. Well, we were the first ones that got the hit. So we had to close up shop. We lost all of our money. We lost our jobs. My house was tied to that. My cars were tied to it. So they ended up taking, and my wife had just had our second child. So I had a 2-year-old girl and an infant. Mm-hmm. And they came and got my wife's Escalade. They repoed my Mercedes. They foreclosed on we had $1 million home, and the bank kicked us out. So I was poor, like nothing. We had no hope, nothing. I had no job. I had nothing. I had a buddy, and shout out to my friend Casey Baugh, wonderful person, great guy, one of my all-time best friends. He let me live in his basement with my kids. So I'm on his basement. I'm sleeping on a couch, and I don't have money to go get groceries for my kids. And in that moment, my brain, I was like stuck. I didn't know I was poor. I had no hope. I forgot who I was. I forgot that it was destined and designed in me to go create and be powerful, right? I'd forgotten that. So whether it's spiritual or financial, it doesn't matter, because my wife, I was sitting there on that couch, that I lived on that couch. I slept on it. I sat there. That couch was a painful reminder, but I'm on the couch looking out the window, and it was the basement window. So it was like in the window well, right? I'm looking at like this metal grate, just feeling trapped. And my wife comes up and she shakes me and she's like, "What are you going to do about this? Like, we need food. What are you going to do?" And I remember being like, "I don't know." She's like, "Well, you are the dragon slayer. Go slay the dragon." So she calls me out in a loving way. And instead of her going and doing it, she held me accountable to my part of our agreement in our marriage, which she wanted to stay home and raise the kids, and I would go provide for the family. So she calls me out, and in that moment I said, "You're right, I am the dragon slayer. I am divine. I am powerful." And I started to say my affirmations again, and my brain started clicking. So people think that when I went back to the home that we got foreclosed, kicked out of, I went to my brother Chris and I said, "Hey man, you can't ask me any questions. You can't tell anyone what we're going to do, but I need your help." He's like, "Whose car are we taking?" I'm like, "I need your truck. I don't have a car." So we took his truck. We went back to the house. We took every light bulb out of the whole house, and we took the refrigerator out. Now, the bank owns it. So technically, this isn't a great story to tell, but it's so far gone that I don't think I was coming after me for this. But we took those, and then I sold them. I had the idea that I could go take these things and then sell it on KSL to go make money. And I did. And people are like, "Oh, that must be a low moment." No, that was the result of my brain having the first idea of how to get out of my poverty, right? How to break the cycle of being poor. And when that worked, and I remember selling the fridge for, it was like $550. I got the money and I was like, I'm rich. I can go buy food. I can buy diapers. Like, I'm in the game. I can go take light bulbs and sell. Like, I'm back. Like, and it was just a mental state. So that was the lowest moment. I lost everything. And not only that, but the mortgage company slapped a $250,000 judgment on me. So not only was I at zero, I was at negative 250,000.
That's a lot of money back then.
That's not even poor. That's like
debt broke.
Debt broke, right? Like, that's like so hopeless. So in that moment, that's how poor I've been. How did I overcome that? I just remembered who I was.
And that's something that our people needs to know, right? Like, as you said, being poor is not being without money, because you can be without money, go create something, go grab some light bulbs and go sell them door to door or whatever. We're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. But being without hope is the worst thing that it can happen. And I think that happened to me when my dad passed away. I felt so down for a couple years. We'll talk about that, Mm-hmm. And you gave me some spiritual guidance like a year ago. And since then, I felt like I got hope again. Mm-hmm. And now I became wealthy, rich. Mm-hmm. Because it's not the money. Money is not important if you do not have hope. And I'm getting that right now when you're explaining the difference between being poor without money or being poor without hope.
Right.
And that's so amazing. And how, like, what was after the light bulbs? What happened after you sold the light bulbs and refrigerators? What do you do later?
Mm-hmm. So before the mortgage company, I'd knocked door to door and sold Dish Network. And so I knew that I could go knock doors and sell something door to door and make money quick. So I said, okay, I need money now. I can go sell stuff door to door by knocking. I can go work and make immediate money. So I called my buddy who was still in the business. It was Casey again, called Casey, said, hey man, I need to go sell. He said, go out to this. So we got in the truck and we drove, me and my brother, and we drove to Grand Junction, Colorado. And we had 10 systems, 10 like equipment, like we were doing alarms at the time. Mm-hmm. And I went out, and we were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and on Thursday I sold 3. On Friday I sold 4, and on Saturday I sold 1 by like 9 a.m. and we ran out of equipment. And my brother had sold some too. So in a matter of 3 days, I had made almost $5,000.
Wow.
By just selling. And then after I sold that, I went to Casey and said, hey man, can the company give me an advance and I'll take half the money in cash now. They can keep the other half. I just need money now so I can go get gas. I got to get home. I'm still in Colorado. I can't even get home. I'm like, can you Western Union me? Venmo wasn't there. Can you send me the money so I can drive back? I have no gas. So that's how bad it was. But as soon as I knocked and made that first sell, I felt empowered again, like I can go. So then when that happened, 2 weeks later, we got everything ready and we went down to Dallas. We moved my family, mm-hmm. Well, we hadn't much to move, but we went to an apartment and we went and sold for that summer. And in that summer, by 3 months, I was the number 1 first year rep by that 3rd month. And I had made enough money to pay off that judgment, that negative judgment.
Mm-hmm. The $1,050.
But I had negotiated with the lawyers to have it be $75,000. So I paid $75,000 cash, and they dropped it. And I made enough money to parlay, go home, rent a house, put down $2,000, and I paid $400 a month. Got a home, got groceries, enough to go out to that next trip. So that was a very pivotal moment in my life where the doors saved me and my family from a very bad situation. So if you ever need cash quick, there's plenty of ways to make money nowadays, but that was the fastest way, the most amount, shortest amount of time.
And that's something that we definitely needed to hear in this podcast, because most of our people are afraid to start a business, mm-hmm. because their only excuse is, I don't have money to start a business. How do you start a business or start making money when you don't have money?
Well, you got to look at what your resources are. If you have nothing, what are your resources? It's your time, it's your effort, and it's your brain, right? It's how you respond. So those are the things that you can control. When anything else happens. If everything else is taken away and you have nothing, you have your time. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. That's a commodity that everyone gets from the Creator. And if you don't utilize that, that's on your own. That's on you.
Yeah.
Then you have your work ethic. You have your ability to go do something. You can go move your body and make money, or you can go move your mind and how you respond to those actions, right? Those three things, if you can master how you handle your time, your ethic that you put into it, and how you respond, those are the core fundamentals that I don't care where you're at in life, what you have, what your situation is. If you realize that those things are the only things that you can actually control, tell me what else you can control, really. Nothing else is in your control, but those things are your stewardship. And if you can go master those things, then the next level, you'll get more things you can control, more things you can control. For example, if you want to start like a sandwich shop, right? And if you control these things, then you can go get bread and peanut butter. Then you start putting together and selling it. Now you can actually go get enough orders to go pick the peanut butter that you want. Now you can have more responsibility. Yeah. Then you can go to the bread people and negotiate a bulk buying deal. Now you can control the manufacturing. And all of a sudden, when you're all done, you look at this and now you have a whole empire. Your stewardship from those three things have expanded. And now you can run whatever level of however big you want to go grow your kingdom and be the real jefe.
And I want to go back and I wanted to show you guys, because I've talked in this podcast about you, the way that we went to your office the first time back 3 years ago, and one of the things that I asked you was, remember, like $50,000 if you want me to work for you.
Yep.
And I was $2,000 negative with used clothes and everything like that, and I didn't have money back then. But I knew that I had something to control. That was my sales skills, right? So when I asked you $50,000, I definitely have nothing to lose. So that's why I asked you. But then you said something that changed my life. That was, remember what you told me?
Which part? No.
I won't give you any money. I mean, I can give you money, but over time, I will make I will make more money than you can make more money if I teach you how to make $50,000 in a month.
I said I'll give you two choices. One, I give you the $50,000, but I'm going to have you pay me back for as long as you work for me. So that $50K is actually going to cost you like $500K in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's how money works. That's how you loan money. The banks, and I was telling you about how banks work. That's what interest is, and that's how you're going to have to pay me back. So either I'll give you that, which will cost you this, or I'll teach you how to go be the bank.
Yeah.
Which one do you want? And you pick this one, which is the right choice because I was going to give you the money anyway.
And I say, yeah, teach me how to make $50,000. And that week, I made $8,000 the first week that you told me. So I was so grateful that time. And I didn't have any product to sell, but you did, right? I found something that I needed to sell. And I found a mentor. So one of the things that I recommend everyone is to find somebody, no matter where you are in life, you need to find somebody to teach you. So that's why now podcasts have been created to show people how you did it, how I did it, and in that way we are cranking up more the results that we are looking for. So another question that we had in this podcast is, what do you like about working with Hispanic culture in your company? Is there any more Hispanics? How does it work? How do you feel about working with us?
Yeah. So I know that I'm blue eyes, blonde hair, whatnot, but like I said, my family, we come from the Azteca people. So I feel most comfortable around not white people. I know that's strange, but I kind of grew up in a very diverse culture. And so for me, now that we have a couple companies, our company right now, I don't have the exact stats, but we are plus 70% Hispanics that work for us. And the reason is for two reasons. The first one is that most people that come from a Hispanic background are not afraid of work. They work hard, and they'll do the job, right? The second one is that most people that come, and I'm not putting out sweeping generalizations there,
Sure.
but most people have a sense of family. We grew up in multi-generational homes. Grandmas live in the house, brothers live in the home. Like everyone kind of lives together, and we take care of each other, right? So the concept of family and loyalty and hard work is what I admire and what I really enjoy, because those are the two most important things in my life that I value: loyalty, family, hard work. And so I feel like for the most part, most people that come from Latin America have those traits.
It's interesting. And for a multi-millionaire CEO of a multi-millionaire company, what's the worth for United? What's the value right now of United Energy?
So we haven't had a recent valuation, but the last valuation of United Energy was $34 million, and then our installer was $56 million. So comfortably, you could say $80 million. But that was almost 6 months ago.
80 million. So with a company of $80 million, does somebody needs to have a university degree to work for you?
I don't think anybody in our company, other than the finance people, have a degree. I think I might be the closest one, and I have 4 credits left to get my degree, so I was close. But yeah, not one of our people, I think, have a degree.
Yeah, because we're so like of the idea that nobody will hire you if you don't have a degree. And for me, like saying to my community that I don't have a degree, that I have never attended the university, I'm weird, you know? Well, even here, right? So, but people don't realize how powerful they are, or people don't try something new because they're afraid of not being studied on the university. What are your suggestions about that topic about education and university? Because education and university are in the same branch, but not on the same.
Yeah, no, today's society's changed so crazy. We are now in the information era, where you can get information anywhere, literally anywhere, from anyone at any time. You can hop on Google. You can see what my net worth is. You can see what the 163,000 times 289.62% is of 5 pennies. Like you can see anything you want to, right? I could look up what Christopher Columbus's blood type was, right? Like the information is crazy, right? And so I'm a huge advocate of education. I learn all the time. I read 2 books every month. I read 24 books a year. I've been doing that for almost the last 7 years. And so my ability to get educated is greater now than it's ever been. The college system, the way that most educational systems work is so backwards, where you go in debt to get an education, where the cap of that degree will give you less than 1% of what you owe back to education. That doesn't work. That's a horrible investment. Student loans is the worst investment out there. It's great for the bank, but that's the worst business model ever. Like, go spend X amount of dollars to make less than 1% back. That's ridiculous. That's horrible. So I feel that education through the standard universities, the schooling systems now does not do what it should, because most jobs that pay the most do not require a degree. Now, if you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor,
for sure,
you need certifications and you need proof of learning. Great, go get that done. But even after that point, I coach a few doctors and dentists that come to me, and I teach them how to market their business. And I'm I don't have any degrees, but
Yeah.
what I do have is my experience now, and I have over 15 years of marketing businesses, and they can learn that from me. I can teach them that, and they get to go use that and become more successful. So the money is made in the experiences. That's why we're here again on this earth to have these experiences, and it's most valuable than anything else.
I would like if you can share one of the last things that I would like to ask you is affirmations. Most people don't believe in affirmations, and you, with a lot of success right now, you still make your affirmations, right? Like, can you tell us more about that?
My whole existence is a routine. And the thing about my routine is that I build in, like when someone has a routine, they're like, it's scary to me. I build in, the thing that people don't like about routines is they don't think that it gives them freedom. But a routine and a schedule gives me the ability to accomplish everything that I need to do. So from being the CEO of United Energy, being a founder CEO of our builders company, I have investments in over 18 different food and beverage companies. We have oil wells, we have solar panels, we have, I've got 3 NFT projects that I'm involved with. I have all my other investments, the crypto, we have mobile homes, we have real estate, I have stocks and bonds. Like everything I have to do in a day, I touch all those businesses every day. The only way I could do that is if I had a very tight routine. But I also build in leeway. I build in the ability to pivot and move. So that's the first thing I would teach people is when you go build a routine, build in 20% leeway that you can have time to stop, breathe, reset, say affirmations. So I don't know if you wanted me to give you my routine, but I kind of started at the beginning of this with making sure that I connect. And here's how I'll summarize it quick. We are all spiritual, mental, physical, social, emotional beings. If I take 30 minutes every day and I connect with those parts of myself every day, and that's my main routine, and then I go to work. So I plan my work, and then I go work my plan. And I have the general's tent or the chief's teepee where I go make my game plan, and then I go out on the battlefield and I go battle it, right? Mm-hmm. And with all those different things I have in the air, some people, I got my haircut today, and the lady's like, how are you even going to get your haircut today? Like, with everything, tell me about what you're doing. And I just said, I am very disciplined with what I'm doing, but I also give myself the ability to have flexibility. And that's a huge thing I've learned through the years. Is I used to put a routine in, and then I would get so frustrated when I wouldn't accomplish everything, I would crack. Mm-hmm. When you get that busy, when you get that many responsibilities, you're going to drop the ball on a lot of things. And that's okay, because you're dropping the ball on the least important things, and then things start taking priority in your life. And then you'll see what things you need to add in your routine and take it out.
Sure. But
adding in flexibility. Second question you asked me was my affirmations, and I spend every day. Here's my thing: if people are like, well, affirmations don't work.
Yeah.
One, that person has never done it. They've never done it. You can't go find me somebody that is super wealthy and ask them if they've done affirmations. Here's what I'll say. Everyone that has money or success in any avenue of their life, they've all have done affirmations or they haven't. Anyone that doesn't do it, they all have never done affirmations. So say that it doesn't work.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen? Like, why wouldn't you not do it? You can't tell yourself, I love myself 100 times without smiling. Why would you not want to smile? If that's the only result you get is that you feel better about yourself, then do it. Even if you don't feel better about yourself, say it enough until you do, because you will. Everyone's like, oh, I don't do it. Well, then you're not doing it. You look in the mirror, look in your eyes, tell yourself, I love myself 100 times. And a few things are going to happen. One, you're going to break down and start crying because you realize you don't love yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Start working on it. That's good. 2, you'll believe it and you'll get powerful. And 3, you'll start figuring out ways to go manifest this love for yourself for other people. So if that's the worst thing that happens, then go do it. And if the outcome is that you may get rich or you may not, okay. But if you don't do it, you definitely won't become wealthy. Why not just try it anyway then?
Just try it.
Humor me.
Sure.
I tell the guys that work for us when we knock doors, I'm like, if you get a door slammed in your face, say I love myself 100 times for the next door, and then 100 times for the next door, and if you don't make a sell in 5 doors, I'll pay for the sell. And people are like, oh, well, try. Well, then go try it. I haven't had one person that I've ever had to pay on that, ever.
It's so powerful.
It is powerful. So then I've got enough empirical data to prove anyone wrong that says differently. And if you don't even care about my data, then why not?
Sure.
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué no?
Why not? Yeah. ¿Por qué no? What is
yeah.
Crazy.
And what is if you can say just one advice to our people who are suffering corruption in our countries, who are suffering of the poverty. I have a hard time. Remember that time that we were doing a podcast? Mm-hmm. You told me that we're poverty, but still I'm struggling to pronounce it. How do you say that again?
Poverty.
There you go.
Good. You got it good.
When people are suffering, when our people are having a lot of poverty, no hope, which is the worst thing, what is your suggestion to those who are listening to you in Hispanic and in Spanish community?
Yeah, first it's realizing who you are. Again, I can't hit this enough right now. I've talked to almost a dozen people this last week, and this seems to be a really important theme right now, is people have forgotten who they are. Almost everyone I've talked to, I've had to remind them that you are divine. And you are a literal son of God. You're royalty. Don't forget it. And I feel like that's a big thing in the world today. Second, know your 3 resources: time, your effort, and the way you respond to things physically, mentally. If you know those things, go control those things. The world is your oyster. It's your playground. The possibilities are endless, right? And so my advice is that once you get to that point, so once you believe you know who you are, you've said these affirmations, you've got your schedule dialed in for success, and that even maybe you do those, you connect spiritually, physically, socially, emotionally, mentally, you connect 30 minutes a day, and then you go to McDonald's or you go digging ditches, right? I always tell people, if I had to start over, I'm good. I do not care. If I have to go work at McDonald's or I have to go dig a ditch, I will be the very best ditch digger that you can imagine. I will dig more ditches faster, deeper, wider, harder until they have no choice but to promote me. If I go to McDonald's, I will flip more burgers. I'll make the very best burger. I'll make it look just like the commercials. I'll have it done. I'll sweep the floor. I'll mop it. And when the manager comes in, he'll have no choice but to promote me. And then I'll do his job better than him. I'll take his job. And then the regional will have to promote me. And then I'll finally get a sit down with the CEO, and I will own that franchise within a year. That's how, because I'm royal. I am divine. You can't stop me. I've already told myself that I will go do that. So in every one of my business, everything I do, as long as you have time and you have effort and you can control the responses positively, right? That's, again, we could talk hours on that. Then go do it. Time is your asset. Time is your resource. But the effort that you put into that time is the difference between me and you. That's it. I will put more effort. I will work harder. I will go harder in that same 24 hours. I will go higher and lower. I will put in more effort. Well, we all have that same timeline. So anyone and anywhere in life can go make that happen.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Brandon, for being here. I think it's been a great time having you here in this podcast. Thank you for your time. I still don't understand. Well, I do, but it's hard to imagine how you handle things and still have time for us to come to our new podcast and make time for us and have some words to our people who are wanting to listen. Because I told the first episode that we had that we were going to have a Brandon Holmes, the man who helped us to became from like negative to what we are right now.
Yeah.
So it's a really blessed that we have you here. So thank you so much for being here, and please listen to our podcast. Follow Brandon Holmes. We're going to leave you the link below. Vamos a dejarles el link abajo de la descripción para que puedan seguir a aquí nuestro querido amigo Brandon Holmes, who is the CEO of United and our friend and our partner. So thank you. Any other word, Brandon?
Yep. Follow me at bholmes.life. That's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, bholmes.life or the bprint.life. So check it out. Website, bholmes.com, bholmes.life. And I'm open. I mentor and I coach people just like we did with you guys through anything in their lives if they want to get after it. So check it out.
Thank you.
This is America Expuesta. With Josue and Christopher Peña. Welcome to another episode.